So today's stream, we're going to be announcing the winner of the last Damn Challenge. For those of you that are new, every 2 weeks we host a Damn Challenge for 2 weeks at a time, and every 2 weeks I announce the winner of said Damn Challenge. A Damn Challenge, what that is when you make a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as a .dam file. That's our file extension. Quite frankly, it spells damn. So we call the streams a damn stream. We call the challenge a damn challenge. As you can see, we lean into that quite heavily. Well, at least I do. I like it. So every 2 weeks, I host a damn challenge. The last one was Feast, and we had quite a few entries. We're going to be announcing the winner of that challenge here momentarily. There were so many good entries, and I think us opening it up to 2 weeks, because a couple weeks ago we decided to change it from a weekly to a bi-weekly challenge, and I feel that was the good move, because so many more people had time to enter. I was able to advertise it on our socials more, and just kind of direct people to it, as well as on our Discord and stuff, and so more people had time to find it and enter. So that's going to be the process going forward, is giving everyone 2 weeks to enter. The challenges are really simple. It's just a 1 to 2 word challenge, and you use that word or 2 words as inspiration to make a map of any shape or size, and you submit it to the Discord thread I create in our Discord channel, which I advertise heavily as the space to put your entry, both on Discord as well as on our socials, etc., in the recaps after the stream. So it's pretty easy to find if you read the recaps or are regular on our Discord community creation channel. Other than that, moving on. Sorry, let me go ahead and open the winner's map. So I got my old webcam, my new webcam died, and so I had to replace it with my old webcam. This is actually a Logitech C920. And I just had this camera, the Elgato face cam, and I don't know what's wrong with it, so I'm probably going to return it. Elgato's doing support with me. It's not working, but it works on my wife's computer, but not mine, so I don't know what's up. Anyway, so I'm using an old Logitech C920, which it's a great camera, don't get me wrong. It's like the #1 streamer camera. But I really was hoping to have a nicer camera. I still have the same GPU as well. I have a GTX 1080, but what I'm sporting right now is a new motherboard and a new processor. Yes, I do have the Elgato camera. Dude, trust me, I've thought of everything you can think of. I've uninstalled and reinstalled drivers. So this problem, the camera used to work, and then I got a new motherboard and a new CPU, swapped those out, put them in, they posted fine, booted fine with my old M2, with my old RAM and motherboard, and everything's fine. Everything works but this camera, and I've uninstalled the software, reinstalled it. I've uninstalled the drivers, reinstalled it. I've uninstalled the GPU or the CPU, driver set and reinstalled them. I've tried so many things. I'm up to tier 3 Elgato support because it's not working. Anyway, I think I'm probably going to have to reload my OS, which I don't want to do because it's a lot of work backing up all my content, reloading my OS, reinstalling everything, resetting up all my stream settings. A large hammer. Cave of Creation is on the right path right now, honestly. So I'm going to have to set aside a couple of days where I can't really post social images and stuff, so I'm going to have to schedule content in advance, and I'm basically going to have to wipe my computer, reinstall my OS, and then it probably will work. But it worked on my other motherboard and CPU, and then when I got a new motherboard and CPU, it stopped working. I don't know why, and I've tried everything. It works on my wife's computer, my son's computer, so it's not the camera. I've tried my computer's motherboard and CPU, all the drivers are up to date, Windows is up to date, everything. I just think there's some weird driver hang up from the old motherboard driver somewhere on my SSD, and I just need to wipe everything and go back to factory. I have, bro. I have, Will. At least 3 times now. I've done the whole chipset worth of drivers, and I've done USB 3.0, the all of them. I've done everything, and it's just not working. Oh, it's frustrating. Yeah, and I don't really want to spend time talking about how much I've troubleshot that, so we're gonna get right into this map. So this map was made by Swedish Cook. Oh, it's fine. I appreciate any and all suggestions and feedback, but you guys have to understand, I've done lots of tech support in my past. I actually like owned a computer repair shop, and I did web design and graphic design, so I understand like software, hardware. I worked at Geek Squad when they opened Geek Squad for like 6 to 8 years. I honestly, like, I know computers inside and out pretty well. It's just this particular thing is throwing me for a loop. My old webcam works just fine. Every other USB port works. My Elgato capture card works. It's just this particular item does not work, and I don't know why. And I feel like if I exchange it to get a new one, or if I wipe my OS, either of those might fix it, so I'm probably just going to go do that. So, honestly, and I appreciate all IT feedback. I used to be Microsoft certified professional. I've been doing IT since I was like in, middle school. Basically, I knew more IT than the computer teachers at school. I built our school's website. I was running networking through all our ceilings and stuff at my school when I was a kid. I know this stuff inside and out. It's something's wrong. Seriously wrong, and I feel like kind of resorting back to like re-wiping everything, and that's probably what it's going to come down to. Basically, when you get to the point that it's just you've tried everything, what do? You reload it. You know what I mean? So this map, let's get back to the core of the stream. Swedish Cook made this beautiful map, and I love it. Honestly, there was a lot of beautiful feast-themed maps. But this one, it just really jumped out and took the cake. There were so many good ones, by the way. Honestly, I don't want to detract from anyone else's work by, picking one, but I have to pick one, right? The themology behind this is great. So, great little stage setup for entertainment. Beautiful mixed lighting with the bullseye lanterns. I love the big kegs on tap over here. And then the beautiful arrangement of the tables. And this is what got me right here. Is that, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of, maybe something from like the Shire. Or, it just gives those vibes. And so congratulations to Swedish Cook for being the winner of the bi-weekly Damn Challenge. You get bragging rights. And I'm going to try and figure out if they have a Twitch so I can set them as an artist at tag, as well as give them a VIP tag for a while. Congratulations to them. By the way, when we do these damn challenges, they're really not for any kind of prize. It's just for bragging rights and having your work featured first on the stream. That is a good question, actually, Crasher Prime. So, almost any light source in Dungeon Alchemist, if you click on it, if you click on this little light icon, you can change the filter color of the light and the intensity of the light. Asterisks and obelisks feasts, I'm not familiar with those. Feel free to educate me if you could. So light sources, you can click on them and disable them. You can turn their intensity up or down and change their filters. Excuse me. A little hiccup there. But this map just has great feels to it. It's very comfortable. It feels, surprisingly just warm and inviting. They thought of everything. You got entry points. You got like this great little communal feast where everyone is kind of equal in this circle. And it's also kind of in this nice little circle of stones, which is also probably religious or whatever. And then this beautiful stage setup. It just is a great designed map. No crazy frills, simple design, and also, incredibly just well designed at the same time. Congratulations to Swedish Cook. And we're going to introduce the next bi-weekly theme. So for the next, you know, I have not seen it, actually. I'm not even familiar with it. Ambush. Hambush. Ham, girl. I mean, I'm not in Europe, so that would make it would stand to reason that things that are popular in Europe, I not necessarily would know all of them, you know? So I'm the one exception to the Dungeon Alchemist team who is not in Europe, actually. I'm a weirdo. So ambush is the theme for the next dam challenge. So using that word as inspiration, build a map of any shape and size, and I will have a recap posted in our Dungeon Alchemist official stream challenge with a link to where you post this challenge, as well as I will I'll create a thread in our community creation channel, which is where where all the posts should go. Basically, it's a great way to keep it organized, and everyone can kind of see everyone's work and chat and get feedback and information and whatnot. I really like at least having a forum or thread set up for it, so it works well for me to keep track of it too. And it keeps it separate from all the other posts that people are doing. By the way, while we're kind of on the subject, I wanted to check and see how many maps we now have on oh my goodness, hold on. So on Steam Workshop, there's now 1,253 maps. Wow. Holy cow. Can everyone that's posted a map on Steam Workshop just take your hand, reach over your shoulder, pat yourself on the back, okay? Because that is a big communal effort there. We have got 1,253 maps. That's insane. I mean, just thinking about the value it adds to you as an owner of Dungeon Alchemist. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be great? 30 rollers? It would be awesome. I'd love to do that. I think we could do it too, especially if the new content launches, you know, sometime before the end of the year to help give a boost in new maps. But the thing is for us to do that, okay, that's a little over a month. A month and 11 days. 30 days in September, right? So there are a lot of different animated objects in Dungeon Alchemist that currently don't export. It's more just for you to, say, record a clip to use as a handout or like a video clip of a chase scene, etc. So basically, at some point, we do plan to add animated exports, which, I mean, right in this map alone, you can actually see a few animated objects. So you have this, lovely spit roast, the fire and stuff. The campfire here is smoky. Well, above it you have the water and the, kind of whatever there that can boil. And then you have water here that is animated as well. Certain angles it kind of just moves. Now, there are tons of other animated objects we have. Just to name a few, the moon gate is one of my favorites. It is now animated. It is kind of a new thing. Before it wasn't animated, but it's only animated as an object, not a door. So if you have an animated moon gate door or a moon gate door, it won't animate. You have to replace it with this. There's also, quite a few other objects like water wheels. Whoa, that sunk into the ground there. Random. Anyway, water wheels also do that. So you can actually record this stuff now and create like a small video clip to use as a scene in a top-down. So let me show you what I mean. You could set it to top down. Let's say you wanted just this, right? You could get it the angle you want and the zoom you want, and then you could hide the UI under view. And then you could just screenshot this or do a quick screen recording using like OBS, XSplit, or any number of screen recording softwares. And then do like a little looped web, what is it, for video? It's WebM, right? Anyway, you do like a 5-second loop of this, or maybe a 10-second loop. And this could be a nice little scene and still be a battle map. It works great. You know what I mean? So right now, that's the solution that you have. It requires a little bit of end user work on your end, right? In the future, we will have animated exports. It's on our roadmap. The devs have said they plan to incorporate it, not in this update, but most likely the one after, as they want to get it perfect. I've seen that directly from our lead developer on Discord. He's expressly said that animated exports are something they want to do. It just won't be in the next update. So, kind of getting back to what I was saying before with the Steam Workshop maps, and feel free to ask questions. These streams are AMA, so if I get sidetracked answering questions, I have no problem doing that. If I have the answer to them, I will do my best to do them, to answer them. I also actually have a little bit of news that is interesting. And honestly, you have a lot of options for recording now within Dungeon Alchemist that you need to consider. Our last update gave you cinematic mode, which is essentially like a free-floating drone camera that you can use to record. Like a scene like this would be beautiful. You know, just like a little, hey, you hit R, record for 5-10 seconds, go set this as a, you know, convert it to a WebM online, and you're done. You know, this is a great little handout scene. And when you're done recording, it just gives you a prompt to save it wherever you want on your computer, and you're good to go. So that saves as an MP4. To compress it and make it as small as possible for your VTT, you'd probably want to convert it to a WebM. Exactly. Now that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you could place a token, let's say. With a token, this is what I would do, right? So you bring the token back here, and then you start a recording, and then you walk through, and it won't catch any of the UI or the recording UI at the top, the bumper little header. It's missing when you're recording. And so you can walk up in here with the token, you got the little head bob, and you can kind of look around, go up to this little ceremony and get an idea of how it looks, and pass the fire, and go up to the stage even. You know, it's just like a neat little setup. And that's what I would do, is like a fun little handout of maybe a first-person view of someone walking around. That's a great example. So, yes, Professor Upsideism. The devs are actively working on solutions for roofs. There are third-party solutions like modules on Foundry that can add roofs, or you can add them in post with like photo editing. But the devs have a few items they've already teased that have roofs. There's one already called the Yak Chal in our last update that has a removable dome roof that you can just click on the object and remove it. There is a miner shack that was teased on our social network. On our social networks and in Discord like a week or so ago, or a few days ago, and that had a removable roof. And then they're looking to come up with a solution with a bunch of objects that have removable, that are kind of like small buildings that have removable roofs, but also AI, you know, roofs for the buildings that we have. That is something on the roadmap. It's being worked on and toyed around with, and it's just one of those things that it won't be out until it's perfect. You know what I mean? The devs are perfectionists. As you see in their work, they have a really high standard of quality in the assets and, you know, what we launch to the public. So it's one of those things that you just got to wait for it to kind of slowly be fine-tuned. Okay? That's awesome, Cave of Creation. I encourage all GMs to make, you know, little walkthroughs, or like, let's say it's the first time they're entering a pub or like a, you know, an inn or a tavern, you could have a little pan back and forth when they walk around, and it's just a neat little setting intro. And you can actually set up stuff like that in your VTT of choice that it automatically triggers this video scene when they walk into this place for the first time. You know what I mean? Like using Monk's active tiles on Foundry, you could set up a trigger when they walk into a pub for the first time. It triggers a first-person look around. And right now, Cave of Creation, I want to show you something, okay? So, I'm going to just drop a new map really quick. So, when you draw a building, let's say you draw this chapel, right? And you put a token in it. For the time being, and this is just a band-aid measure, I understand. Notice how my ceiling is blacked out. You can't really see the sky anymore, other than, you know, you see around the terrain, but the sky itself is blacked out. But when you're up here, there's actually a light source at some point, you know? And if we set it to night, for instance, the skybox would be different. Now, you can actually click on the Draw Room tool, which is the top of the toolbar here, or if you hit 1 is its hotkey. And then you hit the Edit Room tab, which is the third tab here. If you select a room, there's an option in the room to show open sky or show ceiling. And this is that blacked out ceiling that you saw. It's on that right now. If I was in sky mode and, you know, clicked on this token and looked around, I'd have this skybox instead. So it makes it feel like it's open to the world instead of kind of sealed. And I understand it's not perfect immersion, but I think, you know, as GMs, we kind of forget that we're playing a role-playing game that requires a lot of make-belief, and people have to suspend belief sometimes, and immersion isn't perfect, and they've gone years without this crazy level of immersion, so I think they can go a little while without roofs. You know what I mean? I honestly believe your players have the ability in them. But yeah, you could also just angle down in the shot like this, and it kind of does it automatically. There's other things you can do to kind of help with this. In the settings, under the first person, you can set your field of view to be much smaller, right? So mine's way big because I like big field of view because I play a lot of shooters. Set it smaller, the field of view becomes tighter, and as a result, it doesn't look as bubbled or see as much around. And that helps too. But yeah, if you keep the camera angled down, that'll help. But in the future, yes, roofs are something that will be added. There will be a few objects that have it at first. And then with time, most likely all the AI drawn rooms will give you an option for roofs. Honestly, it's still a theater of the mind thing, because theater of the mind games, a lot of them will still have theater of the mind singular picture shots to set up the scenery or the boss fight or whatever, and then you just do the rest. But who said a theater of the mind setup shot or whatever can't be like a looped 3-second, you know, video or a 3-second top down? It doesn't have to just be a picture or just strictly imaginary. I've seen a variation of all of that. Anyway, thank you for these lovely questions. Theater of the mind is a combination of the DM's ability to paint pictures with their words, and, you know, their descriptions, but also, they will usually give setup shots. In the Theater of the Mind games I've done, at least, they'll have like a picture of the boss or a picture of the NPC we're talking to. Exactly. Exactly, and the only limit is how you use this is your imagination as a GM. You know, if you're like, well, I can't use that because I've already seen plenty of people use it. It's just your ability to accept that standard or work within these limitations for now. And already they're great, Remy, and as they improve and get better, I think that it'll get better too, you know. And the skyboxes that Vim added are impressive already. Like, I love this night skybox, and considering this was his first attempt making a skybox, like, I mean, seriously, mad props, Vim. Like, this is great work. I think it looks wonderful for his first attempt. I love staring at it. The moon in particular. I don't know. I love skyboxes in games. I used to spend an inordinate amount of time staring at like the stars and the sky in Sea of Thieves because it just looks so pretty. How to enable the skybox? I mean, if you are, it depends on your time of day, really. If you're at night, it'll be night. If you're day, it's day. And then you just got to make sure you're outside. So this is the day skybox. Obviously, it's just the sun. And then the night skybox, as you change it to night, boom, you got the moon. My only complaint is the light source doesn't seem to match up with the moon at this point, which I wish the moon would just kind of rotate around with the light source. So it's like always, because that's primarily what the light is at night. Hey, that's a pretty good idea there, Ark. Hey, you know what? Maybe you should throw that on Upvoty. What do y'all say? I think that should be on Upvoty. So I just threw that link up, Upvoty. Please go create that and let us know. You know, I would love that. Yeah, make a conglomerated suggestion for extra celestial bodies and light sources, extra moons, extra suns. Be cool to have our own Tatooine now that we have sand dunes. Honestly, Remy, I agree with you wholeheartedly that now that we have this skybox, it personally should envelop around the world in a 360. Like a globe. It goes to this edge, but this horizon, it definitely is jarring. This big black panel, the build panel. I think past the land source, it should just be all skybox. You know, kind of like a horizon. And I think it'll probably get improved with time, you know. This is, like I said, the first attempt. So, I know you're not complaining. You are more than likely just giving suggestive feedback, and I understand that as a mod. You have incredibly detailed insight because you've used the tool a lot. So I appreciate your input. Like it automatically just extends it out past there like a painted skybox. Sorry. Hey, Flail Snail, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Anyway, moving on. So let's browse the Steam Workshop and pick some maps for a minute. Actually, you know what? I had a couple build ideas in mind. And I was going to let you choose what I do today, because I was going to just do a build on stream for a bit, and then we were going to showcase maps after. So, I have noticed that the more tokens you have will drastically decrease performance in load times and just movement overall. Tokens, the more tokens you have created and imported also. I think having more RAM is something we've determined helps tremendously. So if you can throw in extra RAM, I would recommend it. Or if you can shut down applications that are eating up your RAM in the background, say you have Chrome running, shut it down. They are. They are a higher poly than almost everything we have, and so they take up a tremendous amount of data. But I've noticed that the more tokens I import and add, it takes longer and longer to load and scroll through, and sometimes it even lags out. In addition to this, like the more tokens on the map, the longer it takes to load. Hey, Flail, that's awesome to hear. How have you used it in your games? I'd love to hear about it. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Sorry about that, tongue flub there. This is the official channel and stream of Dungeon Alchemist. If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them and pass them on. You know, I honestly don't know offhand, Starseeker, if it will be improved right off the bat. But here's my thing, as I know the devs are constantly improving and fine-tuning the performance of Dungeon Alchemist, so I would, it stands to reason that they will. So yeah, I could say yes, but I can't say when. Let's just say that. Yeah, so the tokens and Steam Workshop were kind of foundational efforts to allow the community to import their own assets at some point in the future. And if you think about it, we need Steam Workshop as a way to allow you to upload these assets somewhere to a communal space, right? And then we also need the ability to import assets of 3D assets of different types that should work. And these Hero Forge ones is a great, like, foundational step. We can test it out and see how it works. So that's how I look at it. And almost every update, we kind of add foundational or kind of the next step and tier of a previous foundation that we laid in the previous updates to push us towards these kind of bigger quality of life improvements and add-ons. So yeah, that's kind of what I look at that as. So kind of back to what I was saying, I want to do one of two map builds today, and I was going to let the community decide. So I was thinking of making kind of like a Aztec Mayan type city with ziggurats and a couple temples and ziggurats and kind of laid out in a jungle. That was one of the build ideas I had. Or I was going to, and someone gave me this idea the other day from their stream. If they're here. Anyway, I think I'm going to build Helms Deep. One or the other. So Helms Deep from the Lord of the Rings books and movies. Or we're going to build a just kind of impromptu kind of Mayan Aztec inspired city with a couple of temples. Hey Durkee, thank you so much. Your map was so beautiful. We showcased it a bit ago. Let me open it back up now that you're here, actually. Okay, so, while you guys go back and forth here. One second. I think there's a way to... I was hoping to make a poll, but I can't figure out how. So, Flail's Snail. To upload a map to Steam Workshop, you simply open your build. So let's say you wanted to upload this map, like Swedish Cook has here. You open the map and you go to Steam Workshop. You click that tab up at the top there, and then you just hit Publish Map. You set the title of the map, set access visibility to public, and then add a description, and then hit Publish. But what I recommend is make sure you set a decent screenshot. So wherever you're at, it kind of does that as the screenshot. Alternatively, when you hit publish, you can also click this and set up a new screenshot with the camera there. I kind of like this angle, so that's how I would do it because it shows the stage. So you would get boop, and that's the screenshot there. Then you type in, oh, dinner and a show. I'm not going to publish this. I'm just setting an example. Dungeon Alchemist. And then you hit publish, it uploads the map. Easy peasy, rice and cheesy. It's so easy. The hard part is if you want to update your map. And the workflow for that is kind of broken. Ideally, you'd update your map offline and then just update it online by publishing the update, but it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, to update an existing map you've already published, say you want to, you made a 2.0. Exactly. I'm not going to publish it. I'm just giving them an example here, Jerky, by the way. 1 second here. By the way, I'd use VIP and an artist, Jerky in chat. There you go. Okay, so I've set you up as a VIP and an artist tag in chat. If you refresh, you should come back as that when you post now. But basically, let me get back to the workflow. So if you have a map you've already published, right, and you want to update it, so you open the published map. So let's say you want to update your work on a map. So Mac wants to make some changes to this Neverending Story map. You download the map from Steam Workshop. I know this is super counterintuitive, right? And now that you've downloaded your published map from Steam Workshop, any edits you do, then you can update. So I want to put a conductor in here because it broke for some reason. And then I don't know why they break when they're under a certain size. So I made this as kind of like a Neverending Story tribute, right? So let's say I updated it and I want to publish the update. You go to Steam Workshop and you hit Update Published Map. Any changes you've made to the map will now update. So now I updated my published map. Now that's the part that I don't like. Ideally, you'd be able to just work on your map that you have saved on your home computer and then just upload yours to your published one already, which makes way more sense. And sadly, there's a lot of in our community who have done that. They've worked on their map extensively, several hours worth, and realize all too late that you cannot upload to your existing one unless you open it from the existing one first. So make sure you do that. I just want to pound that fact home really quickly because it's frustrating. If not, if you have made a secondary version of your map or updates to it that you didn't, open from Steam Workshop first, you would probably have to upload it as a 2.0. And unfortunately, anyone who has seen it, subscribed it, favored it, thumbs up, they may not even see the second one. Does that make sense? So you would lose a lot of potential fan base on it. Hey, no problem. I encourage everyone in this community to upload their maps to Steam Workshop. Share them, please. And we're going to try to get to 2K by the end of the year. Let's do it. What do y'all say? Do you think we can do it? 3K by year's end? I mean, we've got 11 days left in the month and we're only at 1253. So we obviously will have almost about, 40, 50 days to be, it's about 40 some odd days to hit the goal. It's like 42 days or something like that. 2.5K by December 25th. Okay, if we throw down a gauntlet like that, I expect a lot of contribution from the community. We need to get maps uploaded like crazy. Let's see here. So, how many people do we have in chat right now? Let's check. We've got 32 people in here. If just the 32 people in this community submitted 3 maps each, that's like roughly 100 maps almost. You know what I mean? Some of us probably are sitting on a bunch of maps from before Steam Workshop was a thing that we can upload to. I just like to ask. I'm not asking for people to push out a bunch of junk maps, and honestly, work within your skill set and upload maps. But if you already have a bunch of maps you're sitting on that you've used, that your table liked a lot, I mean, consider sharing them with the community, for sure. Feel free, Blue Collar. Would love it. Honestly, there's quite a bit of maps up there already that are from source books and stuff. We encourage you, if you're sharing them, don't attempt to sell them or monetize them in any way. You're just saying, hey, this is a way, if you have this book, you can utilize this map already, so you don't have to go create it or buy it somewhere else, Like, I do fan builds a lot. Like, I did a Hocus Pocus build around Halloween, and I personally, me and Sack made that build together, and we were very adamant that we're not selling it. It's just a fan build, so the mouse doesn't get on us, Exactly. Be careful if you're uploading published maps. I'm not going to encourage it one way or another. You can, and there has been published maps uploaded. I would just make sure you put a notation on there that these maps aren't for sale and that they're fan-made maps, and you're just sharing them with the community so people who have these books already can utilize these maps in their campaigns. You know what I mean? Something like that. Alrighty. So did we decide, are we gonna build a kind of like a kind of like an Aztec village with some ziggurats and temples, or are we gonna do a Helms Deep? What was the consensus? Honestly, I bet you could make his train, though, Cthulhu. Someone's made some dope trains already, like light rail trains. Looking back, it just kind of seems almost equal. Tell you what. I'm going to start on Helms Deep today, and we'll work on that. And then next week, we'll do the Aztec City. Does that sound good? We'll do both. Why not both? Yeah, that's why they call me the community manager, community Mr. Manager. I'm the boss of myself, at least. I know, Starseeker, yours is the one you'd prefer to have first, right? What would you like to speak about, Seisu? I am not the assistant to the community manager. I am the community. Although no one's under me, I'm the manager of no one but myself. I manage our entire community of people. Let's just say that. I keep y'all in line and entertained. Wink. Honestly, you guys are the best community in the world. Mods are people too. No, honestly, Seisu, Remy, Dag, our mods are incredible. They do so much work on our Discord. I barely have to like supervise or do much other than answer questions in official capacity because they're so good at modding there. I basically just manage our socials and the stream, and they are undoubtedly a very important part of the Dungeon Alchemist experience, you know? I don't keep you in line, no. Honestly, they more keep me in line. Seisu, how many times have you pinged me? Mac, you should do this. Honestly, I love our mods, all of them. I enjoy them, and they are great helpers, amazing. Yeah, seriously, they work. They help this community out of the kindness of their hearts. They're just very passionate about Dungeon Alchemist. So. But honestly, like, I enjoy our moderators very much because they help me kind of get a grasp on the community early on and figure out, you know, what was, you know, what our relative roles would be together. And I don't see myself as a manager over them, more just we work together in an essence, you know, and I'm just kind of like the moderator of all our other social networks. You know what I mean? When do you think the game will be ready for 1.0? What do you mean by that? Meaning out of early access? Early access? My bad there. Is that what you're saying, Alyssa? So, if that's what you're meaning, Dungeon Alchemist will remain in early access until all of our Kickstarter stretch goals have been developed and delivered to the public. Whether you purchase Dungeon Alchemist through Kickstarter or on Steam right now, all of our updates are stretch goals from our Kickstarter, and they're 100% free. Each of those updates includes new biomes, themes, hundreds of objects, dozens of quality of life updates and improvements. And our next update is actually pretty much 2 stretch goals in one. It's Winter Wonderlands, which is a winter tundra biome, and the floor is lava, which is a cave biome. The devs have stated that the AI building for caves won't be quite ready for launch of this next update, but the AI for Winter Wonderlands will be, and all the assets and objects and quality of life improvements should be included as well. So I hope that was your answer, or what you were looking for there. You know, not a lot, Smash Bear. Just been hanging out. How are you doing today? So right now, if you purchase Dungeon Alchemist today in early access, you'll get every one of our updates for free, and plus all the content that's already available in Dungeon Alchemist, except for the Kickstarter content, of course, which is no longer available in any capacity. If you snooze this, you lose this, unfortunately. You know, this next update should be releasing sometime in December, which is the timetable. We don't have a for sure date, whether it's beginning of December, end of December. I can't speak to that 100%, but it'll be a very, very large update that'll allow you to do winter-themed contents in your fantasy tabletop RPG games. Yeah, it is a big challenge for the team, and they're working on it. Ultimately, I think, you know, us just having the ability to have extra cave assets and using the terrain editor, we should be able to do a lot, you know, right out the gate with this next update. I mean, y'all have seen what I've made with doing cave maps using what we have already. So, given that we'll have hundreds of new cave-related assets, lava, things like that, it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be zoppity. Durkee, so that's a good question. So we've been posting little teasers and previews from our next update on our social networks like Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, etc. But we also post them in Discord. Discord is probably the home that you should be looking at. Twitter is I'm not sure what's going to happen there in the near future. It's the futures there is very uncertain right now. It's kind of crazy over there. It's kind of the wild west. I don't really want to speak ill, but at the same time, you know, as the community manager, I'm trying to do my best to just write it out there and see what'll happen. But I want to make sure everyone knows, you know, we're here on Twitch, we have a TikTok, we have a YouTube, we have a Facebook, we have a Reddit, we have all these social different networks that if you have a preference, feel free to drop in and follow and subscribe or whatever's best and, you know, utilize that as a space. Yeah, I don't know what's up with it. I think it has to be capitalized. So Smash Bear actually, yeah, so I gave a list of camping gear to the devs last week, and he already had made those backpacks, and I was like, hey, if you're looking for more camping gear ideas, I've got a list of them. He's like, please. I sent him his way to Vim, and he was like, oh, I can likely get most of these done in time. And it was like 10 or 11 items. If you guys are interested, I could maybe leak a couple of them that they might be. There's no guarantee, so... What do you mean? No, the stretch goals, you get them for free, 100%. No matter what level of Kickstarter or whether you bought Dungeon Alchemist now, all the stretch goals are included for free. Okay, so I'm going to open up what should be a Helms Deep map. I'm just going to set it to probably grasslands, giving me the most option for terrain. And I'm going to set no water. I feel like I'm going to build a lot of it using the... objects like the, you know, the stone objects and stuff. Oh, you mean in this one here? Like some of the objects, they go forever. What I do instead of using the scroll wheel is you left click on the bar and then just drag. It's way faster that way. So let's say there's like hundreds of objects. You just click and drag really quickly. Left click, drag. Left click, drag. Yep, that honestly, when I learned that, it saved me. Because I have carpal tunnel, and all the scrolling was killing me. Yeah, no, that's what I'm here for. I know all the tricks, yo. So, here's a few of the suggestions I sent their way. I don't know if they'll be added or not for sure, okay? A bedroll, rolled up or unrolled. So a bedroll on the ground that can be unfurled or furled. A backpack with a bedroll with pans attached. Think Samwise Gamgee. He already had that beautiful one with the lantern and stuff, so who knows? Maybe we'll get another one. Hey, see you later, Blue Collar. Have a good one. Okay, next. Dutch oven. Dutch oven or cast iron, you know, pots for going in a fire. And they have a lid usually, and they are incredibly fun for cooking while you're camping. Fire pit, another fire pit, but this one with a metal rack over it. Metal kettle, sausage, eggs in a pan on the rack. Tents, more tent varieties. A large royalty tent with an image you can swap out the royal seal. Don't know if they'll put that, but it would be awesome. Soldier tents, too, would be cool. Metal kettle with metal teacups, so kind of like just like a rough, rugged tea kettle for camping. A metal canteen, a leather water bladder, a hunting knife, a machete, a compass, and a cot. These are the suggestions I sent their way. I don't know if they'll make it in the final build, but who knows. A bunch of camping items make sense, though, for miners to have. It makes sense that a miner, you know, a prospector would have camping and cooking gear with him. Because usually they're a small party of 1 to, you know, 10 people at most, and they camp on site. So they usually take care of themselves, you know. So who knows how that'll pan out? I just made a suggestion list. We'll see. Anyway. Okay. So. Sorry, I drank. I drank all my water. My wife came in checking on me. So I've got an ice pack on my back. I was working in the yard and I got a pinched nerve the other day and I've been aching, like just dying in pain. And it's been really hard and it's like kind of ruined my range of motion. When I turn this way, it hurts. Didn't really want to complain about it, but I've got, no joke, an ice pack strapped on my back right now. And, you know, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. But, she brought me a rice bag. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. It's just a towel with rice in it, and you can heat it up again and again and again in the microwave, and it's like a hot pack bag, you know? It's pretty nice. So I was gonna throw that on in a minute or two. Okay. Let's see here. So first things first, this like grasslands is definitely not Helms Deep. So we're gonna just change it to say something more rocky, like this. We'll add bits of grass here and there, like in the valley leading up. And there's like, you know, those big crazy mountain ranges, and we may have to extend the map a little bit, but I started with a 50 by 50 in hopes that'll be enough. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway, so there's a lot of land here to paint. So while I'm painting this, let's talk about your campaigns. What have you been doing lately in your campaigns? How is your party progressing? Has anything interesting or crazy you didn't expect happened? What kind of maps have you been making for your campaigns? And are you excited for our next update and what kind of content it may give your, you know, your ability to make for maps in the future? No, it didn't. Okay, to make sure. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, can you do me a favor so you find us in the future? Hit that follow button. These streams, we're trying to grow our presence here on Twitch, and, you know, ultimately get a category here on Twitch. So I appreciate all the follows, all the shares on our social network before we go live. You guys being here week after week viewing means a lot to me. As the community manager, me growing the community is essentially a big part of my job. And here on Twitch, we now are at 820 followers. I would love to try and reach 1K followers, hopefully by year's end here. Doc Green Thumb, welcome, if that's who I think it is. How you doing, man? Welcome. Basically, oh man, did the music just stop? Everything just went quiet. There we go. Get in and finish painting this so we can get this Helms Deep build going. I actually saw a build the other day that was shared on our Steam workshop that they made their own lava, and it was quite epic, but I have seen some teaser lava kind of in the dev private chat. And I will tell you this, it was amazing. I know this is me like describing what a tornado sounded like because ultimately it's just my word. But it is pretty neat looking and I'm excited for it. You guys will like it. Hopefully it'll be all ready. Hey, thank you for the follow there, Kaj. Much appreciated. Well, they just took down the first villain of the campaign and had an impromptu journey of the plains due to a mixing the amulet of plane shift and homebrew amulet of my own design mixing together. All right. That sounds interesting. Where did they end up? I'm curious. What plane are they on? Let's spoilers, please. Let's hear it. Remy, how is it being a player for once? I thought you were a forever DM for some reason. Okay, before I... you know what? So there, I'm going to just not open the map, but I was going to show you here somewhere. It was in here the other day. Here it is. Small lava lake and cave. So what they did is they used water in the sandstone. They filled it with like orange candles that they set the brightness and the filter of orange to. And it looks really good as lava. For now, at least. You guys can check that out. It was made by Fully Trained Noob. If you sort by recent, you can find it pretty quickly. I'll open it later, but you know what? Maybe if I just save this. That way I don't have to... I get so distracted. Because I love showing off community work. I don't really like this to be a stream about me building maps. You know, I like teaching you guys things about building maps, but I don't feel the stream should just be, hey, watch Mac build a map. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is saved, which means if I open up another map, I can just reopen this. Sort by recent. Let's look at this lava really quick. Fully Trained Noob was making this on his stream the other day, and I actually watched him make it for a bit, but I couldn't stay long. Goodness, come on, guy. A snarky blade singer? That sounds a lot like you, actually. That sounds fun. I really, I now am getting time to kind of get into a campaign again, and I want to. I've been invited to one with my family, to a campaign by someone who watches the stream as a Dungeon Alchemist community member, and I just had a lot going on in my personal life for the last few months, and now it's kind of settled, so hopefully we can jump in and start playing again. I miss playing. They did a really good job making lava with what they had. I mean, honestly. And that's just candles that they put in intervals, set in an orange color in the water. So, sure, there's not a lava asset, but is it impossible to make lava? No, not if you're creative. I think a lot of us use Dungeon Alchemist to express ourselves. Or not Dungeon Alchemist, like TTRPGs, but I guess Dungeon Alchemist as well. So, I mean, what Remy's kind of saying, when you roll a character, you know, a lot of us will, you know, make a character to help express our, you know, ourselves more. Like, I do a lot of, technology tweaking and messing around with 3D printing and Arduino and Raspberry Pi. So I love artificers for some reason. They just appeal to me, like the engineering aspects. Does that make sense? Carrowhawk, oh no. I feel that, you know, after 3 months, oh, but yeah, the DMs, like, they gotta take their mental health breaks and life priorities first, you know what I mean? Session prep is ridiculously, let's just say involved, is a good word for it, and I'm sure many of us are GMs, DMs understand that there's a lot of session prep involved with the campaign, and you know, especially a long-term campaign, and tools like Dungeon Alchemist help with that, allowing you to build maps in a fraction of the time, but at the same time, you still have to, you know, curate narrative and compile different stories together for all your players, and, you know, come up with all this background story and information all at the same time, and it can get very stressful, especially when you work, have a family, friends, other things. I get it. Nice, Gore. I typically love playing, yeah, little guy, brainstorm. Let's hear it. What's your idea? But here's the thing. I love artificers, and I love changeling artificers. I like the shapeshifter aspect mixed with an artificer. I don't know why everyone says be a changeling like rogue, and I get it. But I like being a changeling artificer, okay? So, you know, one thing, I'm curious. We got a lot of people here and a lot of chatters, and I'd like to get some feedback. Could I ask you guys a question from a community standpoint? Would any of you be interested in a long-term campaign being casted on this channel once a week? So once a week we have a stream that's like showcasing maps and building, but the other time during the week we have a stream that is DM'd by me and has a party of people that, you know, may be semi-constant and semi-fluid that might shift in and out. And the maps are pretty much 100% Dungeon Alchemist made maps. This appears to be underground in its design. I didn't make the map, but I was watching the designer make it, and they said this was for a Pathfinder campaign of some sort. So, would you all be interested in watching a campaign on this channel in a long-term capacity? That's, I guess, the real question. So, basically, I would both be DMing the campaign, and we'd be inviting, you know, guest stars to be playing. Some people would be from our community, some people would be from other streams or other creators, cartographers, etc. And I have a long-term campaign story I've been working on for like the last 6 months, and it's pretty much all the rough draft content is done. I'm going to compile it into a basically a document in Google Docs, because I have like notes in paper, I have notes on my computer, notes on my phone, notes on Google, everywhere, because anywhere I'm at I'll just write notes when I have them, and I'm going to compile it all into a finalized story. And it's essentially a campaign that takes place in a Feywild, in a pretty much undiscovered remote region of the Feywild, where there's an isolationist nation of dwarves that people aren't really aware of or know about. And it kind of like retcons the whole concept behind dwarves. I don't think I'd be using DA as the VTT so much, but the maps would be 100% DA. LV! How are you? I know you from other streams. I swear I've seen you on Top Down Tabletop, as well as probably CC as well. Yep, exactly. I think I've seen you at a few different ones. The LV in your name is so curious to me, because I'm in Las Vegas, so when I see LV, that's like the first thing I see, and every time I see your name, it makes me think of Las Vegas for some reason. You know, it would be nice to use Dungeon Alchemist as the VTT for the campaign, but I personally would probably use Foundry just because I used it a lot, and I like it, and I would use the maps from Dungeon Alchemist, so, yeah. Gotcha. Well, it's nice to see you here. Welcome as a first-time chatter. Hope you're doing well. We call these streams dam streams, because when you save maps in Dungeon Alchemist, the file extension is called .dam, or a dam file. So, you know, we call these streams dam streams. We do bi-weekly dam challenges where people make maps. We lean into the dam stuff really hard. This is my dam stream, and I'm damn proud of it. So nice you named yourself twice, right? Lupo. Honestly, I'm very excited for some of the stuff coming in our next update, because it'll give so much new versatility and options for Feywild designs, cave designs, winter, snow-themed maps, etc. It's going to be really awesome. Really awesome. Okay, let's go back to my map. We're going to start building a Helms Deep. Because this lava thing, I had to show y'all because I saw it the other day in our Steam Workshop, and I just could not resist sharing it. So, I have an image that I'm going to use as kind of inspiration here. Let me see if I can throw it up. Trying to download the image right now. So I'm going to use this as a reference image for building a map today. We're going to attempt to build Helms Deep to a degree. Helms Deep is obviously, you know, if any of you have watched Lord of the Rings or read Lord of the Rings, Helms Deep is a very pivotal, important part of the story. It's where the riders of Rohan retreat and hold off the Uruk-hai sent from the White Wizard. Helms, yeah. My man. Helms, yeah. Anyway, and they hold it for, is it 3 days and nights until Gandalf shows up with the rest of the Rohirrim and saves the day. Anyway, Helms Deep is a beautiful, beautiful keep, and the way it was envisioned by Tolkien and drawn in his, you know, early designs, and also the way it was envisioned in the movies is beautiful. This almost looks like it's someone's 3D render they made for fun. You know, I see like a name in the corner. I can't really see it all. It's kind of fuzzy, but I'm just going to use this as a reference image while I build today. Oh, nice. How was it, man? Honestly, like yeah, it was you that gave it to me, and now I'm inspired because you didn't jump on it, bro. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. We're gonna do it. Do it up. So I think the first thing I should do is kind of sculpt the mountainscape. Right? No suicide orcs. No amount of Legolas preparation could have put that orc down. That dude was yoked. Like, I don't think any amount of arrows that Legolas hit him with could have stopped him. Right? Okay, so first things first, okay? So we're going to kind of sculpt the valley that it's going to be in, okay? And I don't know how big of a scale we're going to do the map. I may extend the map and make it bigger as we go. We'll see. I might try to just squeeze it all in this and make the valley around it. So it may not be a full-scale Helms Deep, and I'm sorry. So let's see here. We're going to go open in the terrain tool, okay? I'm going to set the brush size about medium and the brush strength pretty high because I don't want to waste a ton of time doing this. Next, we're going to kind of just shape this valley by raising it. Let's actually just make it bigger. And I'm just kind of clicking and dragging as I go. Hey, Hoj, how you doing? I think I'm gonna lower that just the littlest bit. Move it out so it's so like squared. I think I'm gonna sink the valley a little bit too in a bit because that's as high as the mountains can go. I'm wonderful. Have you been posting maps on our Steam workshop lately? I feel like I've seen your work a lot lately. Like Hoja or something, right? So the thing about Helms Deep is it's nestled in mountains, right? So it is actually like a cave in the mountains that they build a keep around. So with that in mind, we essentially want to kind of try to have the mountain valley all the way around this with the mountains in the back. Dude, I love Dungeon Alchemist too. I love Dungeon Alchemist so much, I went out and got a job for them. Like, if I told you guys the story of how I became the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, some of you would laugh, I'm sure. So basically, a few months, I was invited to a campaign that kind of fell apart, and I was way stoked for it. I prepped a lot for it, learned almost all about 5e to play it. And my buddy, who's the DM, his life kind of got in the way. We discussed this earlier. DM's life comes first, and the campaign just kind of grinded to a halt before it started. And I was really bummed out about it. And a buddy of mine, who is also a D&D friend, you know, he played a lot. He didn't really DM, but he played. He's like, hey, man, you should check out Dungeon Alchemist. It's really cool, and it allows you to build maps. And he's like, you might enjoy it. And I started building maps and to build a campaign of my own, okay? And I started writing a campaign. Well, it was a one-shot that evolved into a long-term campaign. So essentially, I started using Dungeon Alchemist, and if you don't know about me, I'm actually a content creator. Before I was the community manager, I am a long-time streamer. I streamed on Twitch, I streamed on Mixer, I was a partner there, a pretty decently sized partner. And before Mixer kicked the bucket, now I'm a Facebook gaming partner. So I stream myself, and I had years and years of streaming and content creation experience. And I reached out to Vim. Well, actually, Vim reached out to me first because I made a map that was a Bob's Burgers fan map, like a fan tribute. And he's like, I'd love to post your map on our socials, but I don't think I can because it's got Bob's Burgers all over it and imagery, and I just don't want us to get in trouble with them. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I guess I could make a different version for it. And I started talking to Vim, and I realized he was, you know, one of the lead developers, and that they were actually a small team of less than 10 people. I thought they were like a team of 50 to 100 people. And honestly, like, I started chatting with him, and I just, you know, a couple days later, I said, hey, I have this idea. As a content creator, I thought it'd be cool to make a stream team or a creator team where essentially the staff and, you know, gets a team of qualified creators who are streamers and YouTubers and etc., who we essentially kind of dub as like the Dungeon Alchemist creator crew or something like that. And I pitched this idea to him, and he loved the idea, but at the same time, during the meeting, I kind of in jest, the meeting was going well, and I said to Vim, you know, maybe if this idea works out for the creator crew, if you guys need a community manager in the future, you can hire me for it if it all works out. And I just said this, you know, kind of just like, because I was just shooting my shot, right? And then Vim was like, really? Community manager? Interesting. And then the next day he comes back and he's like, so how interested are you being the community manager? And we talked, and then he asked me about my qualifications and what experience I have. And then I had an interview with him and Carl, and the next thing I knew, I was the community manager because I do have experience building communities, streaming, content creation, and I do that essentially as a hobby income for fun, you know? So, anyway, that's the story there. It's kind of silly, and how it all worked out, it was kind of just like, perfect timing, right place, right time, and I really love being a part of the Dungeon Alchemist community, and being the community manager. It's great. I love streaming. These streams are super fun. I love posting on our social networks. Oh. Honestly, I had worked in a limited capacity as a community manager at a couple places before this as an intern, where I was just a volunteer, or I'd done moderation and stuff, and then also built my own community. And so this is like my first real community management gig, honestly, but I love doing it, and I hope I'm doing a good job. Hope you guys enjoy the community management I've done. Honestly, and I think that's another reason. I already had like 300-400 hours in Dungeon Alchemist before my interview. I'm passionate about Dungeon Alchemist. I love it. Even though I'm not actively using it in a campaign at the moment, I love it, and I use it all the time. It is my dream job. I love working for the Dungeon Alchemist team. Carl and Vim are absolutely amazing bosses. I'm not just saying that in hopes that they're watching and here. I mean it. They're good guys. They're really awesome. I had some life problems this last few months, and they were really understanding and cool about it, you know. They just are good guys. really smart too. I mean, as you can see, Dungeon Alchemist is an amazing program. So we're going to shape some more of this valley next. I got a little sidetracked there with that story. Max story time. Sorry about that. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of lower the terrain here to sink the valley out just a little bit. Oh, that's perfect. That'll make it really deep and make the mountains seem bigger. But here's the thing, y'all. Don't let your dreams be memes. Shoot your shot. If you have ideas, take them out there. Let the, if there's a company you love and you're passionate about, try it. If you've got experience in this creator industry and you want to try being a content manager or content creator, a community manager or a marketing manager, whatever, shoot your shot, because honestly, it's there's a lot of crossover, especially for streamers in the community management industry, because we tend to be the people who work with those people the most. Oh, I have a couple, but the devs have wanted me to kind of sidetrack tutorials while I do short form content. I appreciate you, Cthulhu. That's awesome. Thank you for the kind words. But, I mean, honestly, I like the long form stuff better, but the devs are insistent, and I do agree that short form content is pretty popular right now. Our shorts get a lot of views, almost every one of them, and they are kind of brief tutorials in their own regard, but I have a couple tutorials in the pipeline. Okay, one of them is how to build a ship and an airship, because that seems to be asked a lot. And so misusing assets to make an airship or ship that is awesome. And then another one is how to build large structures such as castles, keeps, etc., using the stackable objects that we have. And then I think there was one more I felt like I had on a list somewhere. I have it written down somewhere. It's not so much about money. We're not marketing them for money. You know what I mean? It's just, I guess, in ultimately getting more eyes on Dungeon Alchemist means more people using it. But the thing is our biggest market is males 30 to 50. And if we make reels and it allows younger DMs who are getting into GMing with D&D and other stuff now because they're new to it, I guess that is smart, right? So yeah, it is more eyes on products. But I essentially am a marketing manager and a community manager rolled into one role. And so I've got a lot of different roles where I focus on different things. These tutorials essentially are one thing, the streams and social networking are another, moderation is another, and then lastly, marketing ideas that I come up with. So that is something I love doing, the tutorials. Don't get me wrong, they are the give a damn tutorials are actually one of my favorite things I've done so far as the community manager, and I would love to do more of them. If you guys have any ideas you would like to see, let me know. If there is maybe, and like I said, I can get them done. It's just the short form is more the priority. So far I've made 3 tutorials in our tutorials Give a Damn series. One of them is how to make caves. Another is how to make sewers. And then the last one is how to link your Hero Forge account, what type of Hero Forge tokens, and how to use tokens. Because there were so many questions around that when it launched. I also have, like I said, a couple in the pipeline on how to misuse assets to make a large, big ship or armada or airships. Gosh darn it, TikTok. Here, you know what? I'll just post it manually. I don't know why that one's so broken. Oh, it's capital T. It's capital T's both times, I think, and that's why it's not working. Try it. Nope. We got spaghetti and blankets. Okay, try it right now. Let's see if that works. You give up. Yep, that one's just broken. I don't know what to do about it. I'm gonna have to make it over again. I can make it manually go. I'm gonna get rid of all of the commands except for one. It's just TikTok, no space. Should work. Famous last words. You know what? I give up. What is up with that command? It is just broken beyond all reason. Might probably just have to remake it. Well, I like to think I'm a good streamer, but this one command has got me licked. Yay! Just everyone give me a big pat on the back, because we managed to get that working. Okay, so I think I'm going to nestle Helms Deep kind of in this area here. Right? It does not. Oh, by the way, quick reminder, we mentioned this earlier in the stream. We're kind of throwing down the new challenge. So on Steam Workshop right now, we have a repository of over 1,250 maps. I think there was 1,253 when we checked earlier. Let me just double check, see if it's gone up at all or changed. 1,257. So 4 maps have been submitted since I last mentioned it. Our goal is to try and get to 2,000. Do you think we could do 2,500 by year's end? 2,500 by December 25th? What do you think? I think we could do 2,000 by year's end, but if you guys want to go for gold and do 2,500 by December 25th, so we basically have to double the maps we have now in a little over a month's time. Which, whew, that is a lot of maps, boys and girls. So, I encourage you to, if you have any maps you haven't uploaded, please upload them. And if you make any maps going forward, as long as it's not something you're posting on your Patreon to sell, or it'll be a spoiler to your, your players if you post it early, please share it on Steam Workshop so we can build that repository up. Not only is that an amazing value for you as an owner of Dungeon Alchemist, it's also a value for everyone that owns it. So everyone gets the access to those maps. Everyone can use them for their campaigns. And if you need a quick map that's already made up and you just have to browse really quickly, either by most recent, most popular, etc., you can browse in your spare time, save them, favorite them, subscribe to them. You can leave comments, etc. It's great. Skirmish games. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Remy, I love you. Seriously. You're going to make maps. Okay, so skirmish games such as what? Give me an example. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me it. All about it. I know that lots of people actually use Dungeon Alchemist as a limited VTT, both for in-person play with like tabletop TVs or projectors, as well as, or they will use it with, like if they have the VTT, or they use Dungeon Alchemist as a VTT online for like first-person shots or setup scenery, or even for play because you can do the grid. Anyway, let's move on here. Hey, Remy, will you let me know if we hit 50 viewers by chance at any point? Okay, so I think I'm going to start the wall kind of along here, and we'll shape the terrain around it a little bit. But what we're going to use is under objects, you have structural objects. There's tons of these stone platforms. Excuse me, stone construction. Oh, it's a question. So, I mean, yes, you can use Dungeon Alchemist as a limited VTT, both because it has token and grid support. It's easiest, you know, the easiest way to do it is to use Dungeon Alchemist in a tabletop TV that you set up for in-person play. Or you can, you know, broadcast this over, say, Discord and hide the user interface. You also can go in and add a grid that's either square, or you can also use a hex grid. So if your play style is one of these, you can use it, and you can also set the grid in different sizes. So you can make it bigger if you want to. So once you do the grid, add the grid and hide the user interface, I mean, if this is on, you know, a second screen, you could very easily use this for tabletop play and skirmish play. It really just depends on if our assets in our system will work for your tabletop system. Most of our assets are themed around fantasy. We do have some that kind of bridge into steampunk and minor, you know, modern or, you know, Victorian. So mostly, though, it is fantasy based. So if you know, unless you're okay with just strictly environmental maps, a lot of our assets will dabble into that. So it may not work for your, you know, your tabletop system. I hope that answered your question there. I apologize if it's not any better. Awesome. I'm just not familiar with Frostgrave or 5 Parsecs. Man, there's so many tabletop games. So Dungeon Alchemist at its core is a map-making utility. And it's designed to allow you to build maps in a snap. I know my demo right now really isn't demonstrating that because I'm talking and slowly building something by hand. But we have AI-assisted building where you can build environmental maps in seconds or draw up rooms that are automatically populated with assets, floors, walls, windows, doors, you know, objects to decorate it based on the theme you choose. And it saves you tons of time in creating maps. Hey, Bear, how you doing? Welcome back, my friend. Good to have you. So let me give you an example here really quickly. I'm going to just generate a new map. We're going to set this map as Badlands with a flooded ravine with cacti and at water level. So, I mean, here we have generated an environmental map using our AI in seconds. Realistically, the only limitations behind this are your PC's specs, so the size and what it generates, how quickly. I did save it, Remy. Thank you. I did. Thank you. I did. I appreciate you, though, trying to remind me. You were awesome. What you been up to, Bear? How's your campaigns been going? Didn't you just do a one-shot recently, like a Ravenloft one-shot or something? So, let's say your players, you know, they want to go to an environment you didn't prepare for in your session. You could rapidly generate maps for them. You know, let's say this flooded ravine isn't doing it. You need a crater instead. We can do that. Or you want a mesa. Here I am just generating maps in moments. The environmental maps are very, very quick. Now, let's say you want to generate a small town. I generated a flat map here, and I can go through and draw rooms using our AI room generation. So let's say I'm just going to put a bakery over here, and a few homes of varied size. And we also probably are going to need like a smithy and cemetery up in a corner. And as you can see here, I mean, all these are generated on a grid, which is typically how most of these games are played. But I'm generating a small little village in seconds. Hey, if you ever are doing an English one-shot, English-speaking one-shot, and you need a player, keep me in mind, my friend. I'd love to be a guest on your channel. I love your vibes there. I feel so bad because I barely understand everything. Don't feel bad and on my behalf, but honestly, I love your channel. Your community's got great vibes and they're really warm and inviting. I'll translate stuff and watch because I have a translating widget or whatever that translates chat, but it sometimes freezes, so I can't keep up with everything. So I can get chat at least, but I don't understand everything being said. So I appreciate you though. Baron Dice actually is a streamer here on Twitch. He does pen and paper as well as virtual tabletop campaigns using Foundry, and he uses Dungeon Alchemist to make maps for his campaigns. He's a great streamer, especially if you're looking for a German-speaking streamer. His community is incredibly warm and inviting, nice people. His table is very funny and interesting, and they always seem to get into interesting situations when I'm watching, at least. Yeah, hold on. Let's see if we can... I thought I set up the shout out right, so hopefully it works. Dang it. What's the program? You're looking at Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map maker. I gotta fix that, my man. Sorry, I gotta fix the shout-out command. I thought I had it fixed. But anyway, it's an AI-powered map-making utility. It's available on Steam, and it allows you to build maps for your tabletop RPG campaigns, whether you're building it for print, or you use a virtual tabletop such as Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, etc. We actually allow you to export those directly. So you just hit File, Export. You can go to Foundry. You can export for print. All sorts of different options built right into Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making tool that allows you to speed up your session prep. You know, that would be awesome if I had a code that gave a discount during the streams, wouldn't it? I'm going to run that by the devs, but right now, the link's being dropped in stream. You can see them now. It says Steam, Steam Powered. You can check it out. Depending on your locale, the price is different, but it's 45 USD. And it's in early access. All of our updates for the forthcoming future will be free. There are stretch goals from our Kickstarter. We have an update coming out next month that's a very large update. We usually put out an update every 2 or 3 months. Pretty much, it's usually every 6 to 9 weeks is a new update. And all of the forthcoming updates, our stretch goals, will be free updates to anyone who owns Dungeon Alchemist. So if you buy it now, you get all the goods as they keep coming out. Sales, we've only had, since Dungeon Alchemist launched, we've only had one sale. It's usually Steam that comes to us and says, hey, we would like to offer you an option to have a sale. We don't usually get to choose, so I don't think there is a coupon code or anything like that, or we can dictate our own sales, as that's just kind of the way Steam does business. But I will say, whenever we hit 50 viewers on the stream, I'm authorized to do a giveaway every week. So 50 viewers, 100 viewers, 150 viewers, that's 3 giveaways in a stream. Or if we just hit 50, that's 1 giveaway. So almost every week, at some point or another, we tend to hit that mark and we do a giveaway. The update will likely be launching in December. There's no delay in the update. It's just not all the content will be involved. So the plan was to release 2 stretch goals simultaneously in December. But the devs have realized that part of the AI development for caves is going to take longer to get it all fine-tuned and functioning well. So they said what's going to happen is all the Winter Wonderland assets and AI will be released, and all of the floor is lava, i.e. cave stuff, assets will be released, as well as a bunch of quality of life improvements, but the cave AI will not be released at this time. Right? If you guys can host the stream or share it on your socials or in your discords, get the word out. Let's get people in here. The more people we have, better chance for giveaways. Anyway, so kind of getting back to what we were doing. So that's kind of just demonstrating how the AI works. And as you can see, each of these little buildings is generated and populated with items in them, saving you time in generating them or building them yourself. Say using an app like Incarnate or Dungeon Draft, you usually have to go in and do this stuff by hand. Now that's not saying you can't with Dungeon Alchemist. You can go in and build everything by hand, roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, build maps by hand, spend hours, but that's not the point of Dungeon Alchemist. The point is to help you save time using our AI generation to build maps in a snap. But if you want to spend hours like I do building maps, by all means do it. These streams are not for profit. We're not partnered, or we're not, we don't do ads. Well, the ads are automatic if Twitch runs them. I have no influence over it, but we're not we don't do any subscriptions or anything here on this stream. It's just a stream to demonstrate and showcase the beautiful and amazing maps our community makes, as well as teach people how to improve their builds. I answer questions all throughout the stream in an AMA format, and I guess if you think about it, it's kind of like a 2-hour-long commercial for Dungeon Alchemist in essence, But I try to make it fun. Highland Lass, welcome back. How is your game going? I hope it's well. Yep, exactly. This stream is realistically just here to showcase beautiful, amazing Dungeon Alchemist maps made by our talented cartographers, and to teach people who are kind of new or maybe want to learn more about Dungeon Alchemist. That's it. I think she's the GM, so the dice, pretty much just rolls in her favor however she chooses, right? Okay, let's get back to Helms Deep. Oh my gosh, it's already 1:46. Goodness. Oh. Oh. Hydra homies unite. Okay. So let's start by, I'm assuming, kind of bringing the wall across here. We'll reshape the mountain after. This is just kind of a rough template outline. So I know it's not perfect or doesn't look that great. Please work with me while I do that. The real question is, should I use these stones, because I have a very limited tool set, or these ones? Because these are a slightly different color than I imagine Helms Deep, but I have way more stone platforms, some destroyed, so it can kind of simulate battle damage, and a diversity of different shapes and sizes. Winter is receding in your campaign, Highland. Look at Highland Lash. She managed to make a long-term campaign with winter without those assets in Dungeon Alchemist. I think I'm going to use these. I'm like, why am I? Oh, I didn't disable my collisions yet. Ding dong. So I think what I'm going to do is double these or maybe even triple them. Like combine them like that. So it's like an overlapped wall, right? And that'll double the width so I can have like battlements and like defenses here. That's pretty neat. You should throw it on upvote, bud. So the wall will kind of have this width to it, right? Far back out. Does anyone in here watch Oak Island? Assuming you watched the most recent episode then, because it's back. It's one of my guilty pleasures, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy that show wholeheartedly. A few years ago, my wife was got very ill, right? And she was hospitalized. And she was in the hospital between the ICU and the hospital beds and recovery almost a year. And during that time, we spent a lot of time together, like in her hospital room, like bonding, watching shows or, you know, doing stuff in her room because there wasn't a whole lot to do there. And one of the shows we started watching was Oak Island. Oh, I definitely won't spoil for you then, but we really love that show. Because I'm actually going to start curving the wall and I don't want to do auto alignment. It's just going to start shifting anyway, Starseeker. So ultimately it's not going to work in the long run. Like in the beginning it might make it easier, but it only snap to a specific grid, right? Like this. And I'm actually making a custom wider wall. So as a result of which I'm putting them overlap to make them just like a little bit larger. Not another Bobby Dazzler. Honestly, Durkee, these guys make more money in the promotional stuff now than they probably ever will with Oak Island. But, I mean, they have promotional endorsements from, like, Chevy and, like, all sorts of different sponsors, and they've been on different TV shows. They have, like, 4 or 5 different TV shows spread across, like, Discovery and History Channel. And then History pays mad money for their show, renewing it every year because it's like their #1 show every year. And surprisingly, I see the graphical glitch, but it's not going to bother me that much. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, realistically, you think your players are going to get that mad about it, especially once we decorate it and stuff? Unfortunately, Copon, there is not a rapid copy paste of objects at this time. That is on the roadmap. The devs have seen that people have suggested this, and it's just something that they will add with time. I'm not 100% sure when, though. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to grab this and kind of slowly start. Why is it not turning? It should turn. Hello. Great. Okay, I guess this only turns in quarters. No worries, our music, I understand. See, the thing is it's really easy for us to see these graphical glitches or weirdness, but when your players are playing, they don't notice that stuff and don't care. They just want to play. You know what I mean? This is more to kind of set the mood and make it beautiful. Oh, you were right. Yep. Did I change my... Honestly, I used to be able to grab and just rotate, so I must have shifted my controls or something. So what I'm going to do is kind of slowly tilt it, right? And it's going to be a gradual tilt as it comes this way. And then, ooh. And essentially it'll kind of curve and then come into this corner where I'm going to have mountain kind of built around the bridge coming down and the main parapets, like the big area up here. But this is kind of the lower defense wall. I really hate how sometimes the perspective really dictates like where things can go. So I have that slight angle one copied and it's just slowly veering. You see it's kind of just gradual. I'm hoping I can kind of bring it over and kind of curve it this way. Because it'll hit like the main wall. And then goes up a stair, and then the main wall gets kind of curvy and big round area up here. We'll see. I'm also trying to feel how we can do like defenses on here. Someone did it with like interesting little like these like headstones, you know? Those? No. Tombstones, maybe? Are there any more? Yeah, it was one of these they used and it worked. Maybe it wasn't that one. I don't know which one they used. I gotta look into that. But anyway, I was thinking of maybe just putting some like basic wall on this edge and then some stairs on the back side to kind of flesh it out when all's said and done. Anyway, let's keep doing this. This is gonna be super boring. Thinking maybe like a staircase back here. Wondering what stair I should use. Something like that. The backside. I'm gonna see if maybe we have one that matches. Oh, but of course we don't. Why would we have any stairs that match this at all? I was thinking of putting a chunky wall in here somewhere, like one that's broken, so it kind of simulates, hey, this has been hit by siege, you know? There's these up here that are like kind of degraded, you know? That one in particular. This guy. Kind of just looks chunky. Tablet, huh? This guy, thank you so much. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That could work. And we just kind of shrink it down. And loop them together so they're like kind of arrow holes, right? That looks pretty good, actually. Might make them a little bit smaller, but I like how that's going. Thank you for pointing that out. Much depreciated. and a good days to use. That looks great. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to keep sculpting this way. I was thinking to shape this mountain up to this. I was actually going to put some square like ground under here, like a building, and then I'll surface it up to it and then delete it and then put this wall into it so it looks flush. And I'll do that as finish work later. Put another chunky. Rotate this one here. Those actually kind of overlap pretty well. Anyway, so get that. Regular one here. Actually, that's when that platform stops. It's a one-timer. I'm going to start curving this a little bit more. That gradual curve is definitely starting to see it here. And then this is where, like right around here, it jumps up and gets bigger. The wall goes up to a second, like, staircase, basically. And I think there's also, like, a parapet here, like kind of a circular one of these, probably. In fact, we'll probably do it on the next step. Real question. I use this one. Something like that. Or, you know, there's like this half round. That looks seamed up to there. And then here. Hey, Bear, you have a good one, man. Oh, talk to you later, brother. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. We'll catch you next time. Oh, man, it's 2 p.m. actually. I'm just noticing. Stream's probably got to wrap up. So this is typically where I end stream every week. We ended up talking and doing a lot of work and other stuff before we got this build going, so it didn't get as far as I'd hoped. I'll probably work on it privately and then share it eventually, but we may end up working on it a little bit next week as well as jumping into our next build. Remember, you have 2 weeks to enter our current dam challenge, which is ambush. So using the word ambush as inspiration, build a map of any shape or size, and you can submit it to our Discord in a thread I will create later today and highlight in the stream recap, as well as share on our socials and in Discord, so it's easy to find and you know where to post the map if you want to participate. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager. This is the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making utility available on Steam. It allows you to build maps in a snap, whether it's for print or digital in digital tabletop for local play, or using the virtual tabletop of your choice, such as Foundry, Roll20, etc. Dungeon Alchemist is the perfect tool to allow you to build maps for your campaigns and save time, or build incredibly intricate maps by hand that have the details and all the intricacies you want. If you have any questions before the stream ends, we'll take the next 5 minutes or so and allow anyone to ask. Whether it's how to build something specific, or when something's on the roadmap, or what's coming up for our next update, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer that for you. And then we will be ending the stream. Oh, music, I'm glad you're here too. Thank you for being a part of it. Oh, yeah, and sorry it got away from us. I didn't really get a whole lot done on this because we kept kind of just jumping subjects and going to different maps and talking, but honestly, I'm happy we did because I'd rather spend the whole stream answering your guys' questions and showcasing community maps than building my own, personally. Um, but yeah, feel free to ask. And just so you know, we do these streams every Saturday on Twitch. Same damn time, same damn channel. Every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, or 7 p.m. UTC. That's not every time zone in the world, I'm aware. Please kind of just do the math based on where you lived and the localized time zones to that. That should help you out. Yeah, please participate in our damn challenge. I love seeing all the maps. I think we had like 10 entries this last time. It was awesome having so many different ones to choose from. Durkee, if you're still here, congratulations again on your map being the bi-weekly damn challenge winner. I will actually be showcasing your map on our socials over the next couple weeks a couple of times. So, you will likely get shouted out a couple times there, and congratulations again. And everyone that's been here hanging out, I appreciate you participating, watching the streams, learning Dungeon Alchemist, being a part of the community. It means the world to me that our streams are, growing, and our presence here on Twitch is getting bigger and bigger each week. Honestly, as the community manager, it tickles me a lot to see this community grow because it is a big passion project of mine, the streams, getting them off the ground and growing our stream community as a whole and supporting our creators on, YouTube and stream sites, etc. So it means the world to me that we're growing so rapidly here and we have such great support week after week, just showing off maps, So thank you all for being here, for supporting, whether it's lurking and, just being here, or you're being here actively chatting, or you're a first-time visitor today. Appreciate you all very, very much. Since there hasn't been any questions in the last few minutes, I'm assuming that no one has any last-minute questions before we wrap up today. So I will just say that's the end of the stream. Thank you for being a part of it, and we'll see you next damn time. Again, I am Mac, your community manager. This is Dungeon Alchemist, an AI-powered map-making utility available on Steam. We'll see you next damn time. Back out.